It actually was pretty easy to quickly spend $1,000 on Pantry Staples. It really is. This is how I'd stock my pantry with $25, $100, or $1,000. So let's spend some play money. So with $25 to stock my pantry, I'm really sticking to the basics. I want the essentials that are gonna help me prepare a variety of meals. Of course, I'm gonna need some seasoning, so I'm shopping for salt and pepper. I get some extra virgin olive oil to cook my food in. Rice is something that I can use to bulk up dishes, whether I'm making red beans and rice or serving it with a protein and some sides. And I'd also get some of the basics that I use in baking, like flour and sugar. Sugar is also great for my coffee. And the last thing I'd get is some vinegar, because sometimes you need a little acid in your dishes, and I can also whisk it with a little olive oil and that salt and pepper to make a simple dressing for my salads. So when I was stocking my pantry, I was thinking what would be useful for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Plus in my fridge, I'm just assuming that I've got butter, eggs, and milk, and that kind of thing. So with my $100 pantry, I'm really sprucing up my baking shelf. I'm adding some baking powder, baking soda, vanilla extract, confectioner's sugar, brown sugar, and semi-sweet chocolate morsels, chocolate chips. I'm also elevating my spice drawer. So I'm adding ground cinnamon, cayenne pepper, and hot sauce. So I'm also gonna have some of those bulk grocery items for if I want a quick lunch or dinner and I don't wanna have to think too much about it. I've got peanut butter, pasta sauce, and tomato paste. So I'm adding to my protein staples. I've got dried red lentils, chickpeas in a can, dried kidney beans, and I'm adding brown rice for a little bit more fiber. So one way that you can save a few dollars is to buy items like dried beans or some of those grains in bulk. And it's really cool because some places even let you take your own jars or containers, and that way you're not using any plastic or something unnecessarily. I'm also adding some honey and canola oil. So I was also thinking about breakfast items. So I've got some rolled oats if I want to make oatmeal or even make my own granola, which I can use the honey and cinnamon and even a little bit of salt for my homemade granola. And I've got some quick cooking grits because I'm from Louisiana and I want grits and eggs for breakfast. Something that didn't make the cut in my $100 pantry was almonds. I wanted either almonds or almond flour, but at the end of the day, it just didn't make sense to have them as one of my staples. Which leads us to the $1,000 pantry, where I filled it with any and every it actually was pretty easy to quickly spend $1,000 on Pantry Staples. So for my $1,000 pantry, I really wanted to have fun. I did not want to deprive myself of anything, and I ended up being able to get a really good variety of different grains, oils, spices, and even some kind of special items for baking or if I wanted to make a different kind of cuisine. So I have flaky salt on this list because I love to finish dishes with the large flakes of salt. Even like chocolate chip cookies, to add a few of those little salt flakes just really adds that extra something to balance out those sweet flavors. Pink Himalayan salt I use because in my head, it's like better than the regular table salt. It's less refined. I like it. I like pink Himalayan salt. I really wanted to have so many options for different grains because if I ate brown rice last week or made it with my meal prep, I want to change it up this week. So I've added farro, I've added quinoa, I've added popping corn kernels, I've got buckwheat flour, which I love if I'm making my savory crepes with. I added cornmeal because I like to make cornbread because I bake and I'm from Louisiana, obviously. I've got wild rice, I've got jasmine rice, I've got black rice because again, the $1,000 pantry, it's about having variety, and with this pantry, you don't have to make the same thing twice in a row. We've got options. So we finally get our nuts and our seeds in our $1,000 pantry. Of course, I got a variety. I got almonds, I've got pecans, cashews, pine nuts, which are great for making pesto or even to sprinkle on top of your salad. I even got different nut flours and nut butters like almond flour and almond butter. And I get poppy seeds and sesame seeds, which again are great to just add texture and flavor if I'm baking something or even adding to my granola mix. I gave myself many different chocolates to choose from. It's stocked with dark chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate, and cocoa powder. If I'm splurging on my pantry, I'm gonna get a chocolate that has cocoa butter because that's what makes chocolate melty and gives you that good mouthfeel. Yeah, it's a splurge. So I already had extra virgin olive oil and canola oil from my $25 and $100 pantry. So I wanted to up the option, so I'm giving myself sesame oil, which is great for making dressings, and also coconut oil, which is great to have as an option to cook with, or you can even use it when you're baking. So I'm treating myself with some of the ingredients that I like to use when I'm cooking food from other cultures. So I'm giving myself tahini, so I can finally make some hummus with those chickpeas that I've had for a while now. I'm also giving myself some soy sauce and fish sauce for if I want to make a papaya salad, and jaggery, which I've used when I'm making Indian foods like a babinka. I've also given myself many of options for condiments. I've got sriracha, mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, yellow mustard, and also some strawberry jam and maple syrup. Maple syrup is not cheap, but we will have maple syrup in this pantry. It's super versatile. Of course, you can use it on your pancakes and waffles. You can also cook with it. You can add it to your dressings to add a little bit of sweetness. You can bake with it. There are so many different great uses for maple syrup. And of course, it's an unrefined sugar, so it's something that, we can enjoy and feel good about. So I've also just got some items to make my life easier. So I've got cooking spray, I've got baking spray with flour, which means that, if I'm baking a cake, I don't have to worry about smearing softened butter and then dusting it with flour. I just grab the baking spray with flour from my pantry shelf and spray the pan. I've also got raisins and dried cranberries, which are great for everything from salads to just to snack on. Okay, we've also got some kind of fun things to just make things more beautiful. So in this pantry, we've got sprinkles because, if it's time to celebrate something, we can add some sprinkles. And we've got food dye in this pantry, which is great if I'm making something like a red velvet cake. So I didn't really include canned fruit or canned veggies in my pantry. And it's not that I'm completely opposed to them, but I would prefer to have frozen veggies if I wanted something that's a little bit more stable. The thing I might be most excited about in this pantry are whole vanilla beans. Look, vanilla is like baker's gold, and I think it's priced as much, ounce for ounce? Okay, not really, I'm exaggerating, but it's really pricey, and to have that fresh whole vanilla bean, it's gonna give you so much more flavor than if you've used vanilla extract. The awesome thing about those vanilla bean pods is when you're using them in a recipe, you slice them in half, you scrape out the seeds, but you can still keep those pods and you can throw it in your sugar so that you can kind of have a vanilla fragrant sugar. We are using the whole bean because we have paid for the whole bean. So I have saffron in my $1,000 pantry because we are very fancy, and it is probably one of the most expensive ingredients that you can buy. And I like it, again, just because it has so much flavor, but it also adds color to whatever it is that you're cooking. So if you add, a thread or two to your rice when you're cooking it, you're gonna get this vibrant flavor and a vibrant color. So in this pantry, I would have the classics like canned tuna and canned salmon, but I would also have some of the other more fancy tinned fishes. I would definitely have tinned anchovies, which I use as a base in a lot of the different Italian dishes that I've made. We've got more options for flours in this pantry. I've got wheat flour, bread flour, and even self-rising flour. So the biggest ticket item is definitely a splurge, but it's got 55 different spices in it, including all of the basics that you would want in your spice cabinet, plus some that you have definitely never heard of, but will take your cooking to a place that you did not even know that it could go. So the complete collection from Burlap and Barrel single origin spices, it is $499, but You get 55 different spices, including like 3 types of peppercorns and pepper flakes, and so many just really vibrant spices that make it worth the price tag, because it is going to make your cooking so vibrant and delicious. And you know what? I think it makes cooking really fun again, because you get to explore and play with some of the spices that you might not be used to because you've never cooked with them, like cured sumac and sun-dried tomato powder. And I also added chicken stock, chipotles and adobo sauce, coffee beans, balsamic vinegar, apple cider vinegar, red wine vinegar, rice vinegar, coconut milk, pumpkin puree, candied ginger, cornstarch, molasses. I was actually surprised by how quickly I hit that $1,000 target. It wasn't a complete free-for-all, but I was able to just give myself enough variety that I know I'm not gonna get bored with my cooking and with my grains and with my oils and my vinegars. I didn't feel deprived, but you know, I could have kept going. Honestly, doing this made me realize just how much money I've spent on my own pantry staples. I definitely need more play money and more real money. As far as pantry tips, I would say make sure that you're using whatever it is that's in your pantry. I mean, the reality is food is not cheap. You know, whether you're stocking a $25 pantry, a $100 pantry, or a $1,000 pantry, it is important to know what it is that you're actually gonna cook, what it is that you want to eat, and focus on those things. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button so we can play with more money.